Alright guys, welcome back. So today we're going to be checking out yet again another Firefly FFVX. And listen, I love the NL body shape. I'll buy as many as I want. Judge me if you want. I don't really care. I love the shape so much because I'm such a huge fan of Dimebag. But Dimebag Daryl fans will know right away what guitar that this one is paying homage to. This guitar is paying homage to Dimebag Daryl's signature Washburn, the Stealth 3ST. Now, Dimebag Daryl fans know that Dimebag was known for playing a wide array of different guitars. I mean, he had a diamond plate signature, he had the broken glass, he even had one with the Confederate flag on it. Like, I mean, you name it. He had so many different guitars, and for me, it was always tough to pick a favorite because all of his guitars were just super cool and sick as hell. But if I had to pick an absolute favorite, it's without a doubt the Stealth. I mean, the simple design, the black with the silver bevel, it's so simple, yet it just screams heavy metal. And it was always my favorite guitar, especially if you've seen that live Floyd solo of them in Japan. It was like, every time I watch that, it just always gives me chills. And when I saw that video, because he was playing the Stealth in that video, I was like, dude, this is so freaking cool. Like, I want that guitar. And at the time of recording this video, I actually did look up a Washburn Stealth on Reverb, and there was one listing. And when I say the price is out of this world, it's about the price of a new car. So trying to get my dream guitar, the Washburn Stealth, probably not gonna happen anytime soon. So when Firefly dropped this guitar simply out of nowhere, I smashed the buy button as fast as I freaking could, because I want to make sure I got my hands on this before it sold out, which it did, and I think they uploaded it about twice before it did, but I got it, and I was super stoked to get it. And my first impressions, this looks almost identical to the actual Washburn 3ST, given this is a 24 fret, the original was 22, but I mean, from a speeding car or even the stage, like I said, this looks freaking, like, almost near identical. And of course, there's a lot of things I love with this guitar, and unfortunately there is one glaring issue. You're not going to see it by looking at it right now, but stick around towards the end of the video when I go over the pros and cons, and I'll explain the big flaw with this guitar. Alright, but now let's move on to the specs. So, typical Firefly ML specs. You have a mahogany body with a mahogany neck, rosewood fingerboard with stainless steel fretwork and nicely polished ball ends, and it is a 24 fret construction. You have two regular style humbuckers, and like the broken glass ML that I did my last review on, you have a named Floyd Rose styled bridge, which again, it is on par with the Floyd Rose Special, give or take difference in materials used to make the bridge. And the locking nut is a 42 millimeter locking nut. And for your controls, you have 2 volumes and 1 tone, and a 3-way pickup selector switch. And for the finish, you have a gloss black with a metallic silver bevel, which the silver bevel also does continue on the back as well. Really cool and nice touch to see. But like I said in the beginning, this is clearly paying homage to the Washburn Stealth 3ST. And I mean, just if you're looking at it now and you compare it to the actual one, like I said, it's almost identical, just the difference being the 24 frets. But other than that, they look pretty much the same. And with all that being said, this guitar came in at around $300 USD, give or take a few extra bucks for taxes and shipping. But at that price point, you get a loaded Dimebag Darrell inspired guitar, and you get a named Floyd Rose bridge, which at that price is a huge plus. But all right, I'm sure you guys want to hear how this guitar sounds. So for the demo, I'm going to start us off with clean and then move on to distortion and lead. And for the amp tones I'm going to be using for the demo, I'm going to be using the ML5 plugin from ML Sound. But all right, let's get into it. All right, so now we're going to start on clean, starting with the bridge pickup. Let's get right into that. All right, now moving on to the middle position. All right, and now lastly, moving on to the neck pickup. All right, now that we got clean out of the way, let's move on to distortion. The riff I'm going to play is going to be from the jam you guys saw at the beginning of the video, and we're going to start on the bridge pickup. All right, now moving on to the middle position. All right, now lastly, moving on to the neck pickup. All right, and now lastly, we're going to move on to some high gain lead. And again, I'm going to be playing the solo from the jam you guys saw in the beginning of the video. And we're going to start with the bridge pickup. All right, and now we're going to move to the middle position. All right, and now lastly, we're going to move on to the neck pickup. All right, and now before I move on to my final thoughts and the pros and cons of this guitar, I figured I'd do a real-time whammy bar test, meaning there's going to be no snap cuts. It's going to be one continuous straight shot. Hopefully I don't mess up my speech or my playing, but I'm going to play a chord just to test the tuning, then just wail on the bar as hard as I can, and then play the same chord again. So if there's any instance of the guitar being out of tune, you'll definitely be able to hear it. But all right, let's get into that now. All right, so that's in tune. Now let's just beat the crap out of the bar. All right, now let's play it. All right, see, but this is why I do the test. As you can hear, some of the strings are in fact out of tune. So again, a little bit of a shame, but yeah, unfortunately, this bridge just doesn't hold the tuning. Sucks to see, but it is what it is. All right, so now that we went over the specs and we demoed this guitar and we tested the whammy bar, let's get into the pros and cons of this guitar. So I want to point out right off the bat, these pickups sound awesome. And like the Broken Glass ML I took a look at, where it had the blade style pickup in the bridge, this bridge pickup and honestly both pickups together, they have no problem with getting enough gain and bite that I like. So like I said, I want to point that out. That's a huge win for this guitar. And as far as pros, that's probably the biggest highlight. I mean, the playability on this guitar, especially out of the box, I think was really good. All I had to do really was just tune up the bridge, and that was it. I didn't really have to adjust the height or do any intonation or whatsoever. All right, so now let's get into the cons of this guitar. So like I demonstrated in the whammy bar test, this bridge definitely doesn't hold tuning as good as I would like it to. If you beat the crap out of the bar, some of the strings are going to go out, which is unfortunate to see because this is a Floyd Rose named bridge. The last guitar I took a look at had the same bridge, just chrome, and like this being black. That bridge, it held tuning extremely well, and for whatever reason, this one doesn't. I don't know exactly why, but again, it is what it is. And another con, which is not so much a playability with the guitar, it's more with the finish. Now, I'll do the best I can to show some up-close shots of the body. The silver metallic bevel, when they did the paint, the cut is definitely, it's pretty sloppy in some areas. It's not super straight. But again, it's just nitpicking because, let's be real, from the stage, you're not going to notice that imperfection whatsoever. It's something you're only going to notice if you take a good up-close look at it. And now, getting to by far the worst part of this guitar. And like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, this was a huge problem. It's the bridge. Now, it's not necessarily the tuning, it's the way that they mounted the bridge. Now, again, I'll try to get an up-close shot. So when you look at the bridge, the gaps where they did the route for the bridge, you could see on the left side, the gap is bigger than the gap on the right. The bridge is not mounted perfect. It's slightly offset. That's a huge bummer because, I was super excited to get this guitar because it is an homage of the Washburn Stealth. But again, that's such a huge manufacturing flaw. And, it is fixable. And to explain how to fix it, basically, I would have to pull the bridge, pull the posts, plug the holes, and then do remeasuring and re-drill. So is it a big to-do? Not really. I would say it's tedious at best. So is that something that I'll end up fixing in the future? Maybe, maybe not. Because again, the guitar still is playable. So if you're doing riffs, you're gonna have no problem whatsoever. It's just when you play lead, you just really have to pay attention or else your fingers are going to want to roll off the neck. So, but if anybody out there that's watching this has bought this guitar from Firefly, let me know in the comment section if you ran into this similar problem. I'd be curious to know if this is just a one-off issue with the one I happened to get, or there was a lot of these that had the bridge put in slightly offset. So with that being said, the score I would give this guitar, a 6 out of 10. Because, like I said, it is still playable, but with that huge manufacturing mess up, I can't look past that whatsoever. And the cut from the silver metallic paint being sloppy, I gotta dock that as well, which is a shame because this was my favorite style Dimebag guitar, and it just sucks that, you know, I got hit with a crappy one, you know, to put it lightly. And like I've said in some of my other videos, you know, Firefly, when they hit it, they freaking come out with bangers, but when they fumble, they often fumble pretty bad. And, you know, unfortunately for this guitar, it is a fumble. So obviously, would I recommend it? Absolutely not. You know, I would definitely check out some of their other MLs or some of their other guitars. You know, I'll leave their link to their website down in the description below if you want to check them out. But as far as the Stealth, it's a thumbs down. But all right, guys, that's going to wrap it for today's video. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to hit the subscribe button now, leave a like on the video, and of course, leave a comment down in the comment section below. And I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this guitar or anything about it. And in my next review, we're going to be checking out the Firefly EVH style guitar. So if you're not yet subscribed, don't forget to hit the button now if you don't want to miss that review. But all right, I will see you guys in the next video. Have a good one, everybody.